we got to talk about the Hasan dog thing. Now, real quick, I actually want to know, before we even get into this, what are y'all's actual opinions on this? Like, in the comment section below, over on Twitch stream chat, whichever one, I want to know what y'all's opinions are, because I think that this is a situation where everybody has had some type of major opinion. The Immortal says, what is it? So the TLDR was that Hasan had a shock collar on his dog, and when the dog tried to leave a designated space in his room, he pressed a button, shocked the dog, it yelped, and it went back to its designated space. That's the situation itself. That's the long and short of it. So just off of my description, or ideally your previous knowledge, what is your opinion of that? Paige says, that's not how I remember it. I watched the video. That is what fucking happened. But hold on. Just throw your opinions down. It's fine. The narcissist thought the explanation was something else, not a shock collar. Stops as I heard it was a vibration collar, not a shock collar. Let's see here. Teeth Pace says either he shocked his dog or he didn't, and still forces the dog to stay in place for several hours. No matter what, still an ass. Axo says sounds like animal abuse. Okay, we've certainly got a lot of opinions there. The Immortal says, oh, that he's abusing his dog. That's my opinion. Okay, alrighty. Matu Dad says he's got zero evidence for it. The Semin says there's more important things. Okay, so we've got opinions ranging from this is animal abuse to there's other things that fucking matter. You watched Omni's review and watched the video with him. He purposely shot the dog. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do, courtesy of K-Fox, I'm going to look at a couple of things. I want to see one particular person's crash out over this, and then we are going to look at an actual expert. We're going to look at an actual expert talk about this. So first of all, I just want you to see, real quick, I want you to see what Tectone is doing in regards to this. Now, we've covered Tectone before. I think he's got a bunch of really dumb, shitty opinions. He seems to be really right-wing, really transphobic, really problematic. Not a big fan. Anywho, so, right now, he is taking post after post after post after post after post to post about Hasan. Dude is crashing the fuck out about Hasan. And he goes on similar tirades about Niara, who we may actually cover tomorrow, because Niara sent me some of the shitty things that Tectone has been doing with Aspen in regards to her. So that is going to be something that we'll need to cover later when it is more appropriate for that conversation. The Sam says he's crushing so hard. We have Tectone going, Hasan, it's Asmongold, Destiny, and Tectone's fault. God, Hasan, you always talk about me. You're so obsessed. You're so obsessed. You're so obsessed. You're so obsessed. You're so obsessed about me that I tweet about you constantly. You're so obsessed about me that I post about you all the fucking time. Streamers need to get off of fucking Twitter. I swear to God. Jesus Christ. Says, by the way, bro's dog left him. Get a grip, take some accountability. So a singular picture from a singular stream where the dog happens to not be in the designated spot. Okay, sure. Why not? What's the next one we have here? We have Tectone saying, Hasan, your viewer got arrested for making terrorist threats after consistently radicalizing your audience. Why are you talking? Said Hasan viewer fan he spoke to on stream arrested for making terrorist threats. A Michigan man has been charged with making terrorist threats in Illinois. Okay, so I do not know if that is the same person. It could be. I'm unsure. But he says this in response to Hasan saying that Tectone and similar content creators were responsible for the fall of TwitchCon. The fall of TwitchCon, I have friends that went to TwitchCon. I didn't hear anything about that. Maybe the last time I even cared about TwitchCon was when a girl got like permanently fucking injured because of lack of safety things at TwitchCon. Hasan and Kaya's best moments, and it's just all these videos. So Hasan telling his dog to do things. I don't know if you've ever had a dog before, but oftentimes when dogs are doing things that they are not supposed to do, or that you don't want them to do, or going around and chewing on things, you will likely have places that you would rather them be right now. Lenaria says, I hope Emiru... Yeah, Emiru did get assaulted at TwitchCon. That was fucking weird. Then, of course, we have Drew Pavlo going... Holy shit, old Hasan Piker recording with his previous dog Fish shows an open wound on the dog's neck where Hasan used a prong collar. Now, I'm just curious, does anybody here think using a prong collar is animal abuse? Because I'm of the opinion that it's not. I have had dogs that are larger that try to pull on chains that... after a week of using a prong collar, no longer do that. Now, I know that it does cause discomfort for the dog, and if the dog pulls hard enough, it can cause pain. It entirely depends on the prong collar at that point. I get that. But I think trying to go, oh my god, look, he used a prong collar, and also look at this image where there's an injury. We have no way of knowing that that injury came from the prong collar either. We have no way of knowing that. Particularly because guess what? Dogs get into dumb shit. I have had to fix injuries on a lot of my animals because either one of them decided to start an altercation with the other for a second, and now it's time to clean them up. That doesn't happen very often, thank fuck, but the like 2 times it's happened in 4-5 years, I did end up having to take care of Yumi during that. But we also know that dogs will do things like run around in the yard and trip on a stump and get themselves injured that way. There's a lot of ways that can happen. I have no way of connecting these 2 dots, personally. Lenaria says, our dog got an injury there from a collar once, then we noticed it and changed immediately. Yeah, but everybody who's used a prong collar, I guess you're just an animal abuser, like according to Tectone, known animal lover. Then we have Hasan in a drunken stream claims, I love sex. Nothing can substitute sex with a human. What did he mean by this? Why did he have to specify sex with a human? You'd think that'd be implied, obviously, but what if? Tectone, why are we just randomly implying, I don't know, bestiality is the best part I could say here? Like, why are we randomly implying bestiality for a content creator? Like, for me, sex with a person is way better than masturbation. There we go. That's as easy as you can get. Paige says that looked more like scraped skin than a puncture wound. Exactly. There are reasons that can happen. Hell, I've had to clean off scabs from one of my cats because they itched themselves too hard on the neck. I'll sit there and look over, see them scratch a bunch, and then just feel and go, you scratched yourself, like completely. That's gonna be a scab tomorrow. Now we need to get some alcohol on that wound to make sure that it doesn't cause an infection because cat claws are filled with fucking bacteria. Stop says, Tectone, forget sex toys exist. Yeah, what if he's just talking about his favorite own-a-hole right now? Who knows? Who knows? And then we have Taylor Lorenz, who, well...
I was up in arms thinking that Hasan shocked his dog.
You could see him reach over, hits the thing, the dog fucking yelps.
Initially, even Hasan's community was starting to question, did he just shock Kaya? Did he just use a shock collar on stream?
He zaps the poor little dog for getting up, and then he says, why'd you make me do that?
So what did he just do to that dog?
Today, I want to talk about something that's been all over my feed lately and has been driving me absolutely crazy. For the past week, the internet has been dominated by the conspiracy theory that Twitch streamer Hasan Piker abused his dog using a shock collar during a Twitch live stream. There is, to be clear, zero evidence that his dog Kaya was even wearing a shock collar during that live stream. Kaya is pictured wearing a canvas collar with a little AirTag holder in it in the original clip, where she yelped once after seemingly catching her nail on the dog bed. This led to a bunch of internet-pilled psychos crawling through hours and hours and hours of footage claiming that Piker secretly abuses his dog. Their evidence of this is not even the footage where Kaya yelps. It's that in totally different clips, where she doesn't even appear to be in distress at all, she's wearing a collar with a small green light on it. Piker showed this collar on stream. It's an electronic vibration collar with zero shock capabilities. Attempting to debunk this conspiracy that Hasan abuses his dog, however, has become largely impossible. First of all, you can't prove a negative, which everyone pushing this crazy conspiracy theory, by the way, actually knows. It would be like asking me to prove that I've never punched someone. Again, you can't prove a negative. After Hasan revealed the vibration collar on stream, bad actors attempted to leverage the fact that he put a small piece of tape on the back to conceal his phone number, which is like written in Sharpie on the back of the little vibration box, as evidence that he somehow secretly modified and soldered down
Jesus fucking Christ. Look at XQC down there being a fucking weirdo about this.
On shock collar prongs, something that would basically be like impossible to do, like impossible. I'll pause here to say that I've met Kaya IRL. I have never seen her in a shock collar. I've spoken to people who have walked Kaya, babysit Kaya, probably spent hundreds of hours with this dog. And according to everyone I spoke to, in 0 instances has she ever been abused. Not a single guest on Piker's Twitch stream in the years and years and years that he's had Kaya has said that they've ever seen Piker mistreat Kaya.
It's not a shock collar. I've seen that collar. I've used that collar before. I've babysat that dog.
And the only reason more influencers aren't speaking out publicly is because the people perpetuating this vicious harassment campaign are threatening them into silence. Big-time influencers are having their brand deals jeopardized and facing serious business consequences for even suggesting that they might publicly come out in support of Hasan.
That's fucking crazy to me. Do you think this has anything to do with animal abuse at this point? No, it doesn't. There's a reason why right-wing influencers and right-wing pundits are talking about this shit into the goddamn ground. It's not because of animal rights. It's because Hasan's a leftist. That's what it is. They will use anything to attack him. And there's certainly a lot of things to make fun of Hasan for, like walking away from his stream while playing somebody else's video. Absolutely. There's definitely things to make fun of him for. But ultimately, people see that he's a left-winger, and that is what they're going to do. They will find any reason to go after you after that point. And by they, I of course mean those same right-wing pundits and influencers.
Actually happening on a scale that I have never seen before. Multiple journalists in group chats, by the way, I've been talking to people, have like wanted to report out this story, but other influencers are so scared of the harassment and abuse that they might get that they don't even want to speak on the record with their name. And yes, I know also, by the way, that making this video will definitely just put a target on my back, but I don't care because the people perpetuating these conspiracy theories already hate me.
So that's the side of this from somebody who's more oriented on the left. Okay, fair enough. So what if we went somewhere else? What if we actually went to an expert on the dog situation himself? What if we did that?
Fuming right now from a Twitch stream that went on from a creator named Hasan Piker for allegedly abusing his dog live while on his stream. Now, of course, I thought who better to look at this situation, clear the air, and explain to you guys exactly what's going on. I'm a professional dog trainer. I work with behavioral cases, and I've been doing this now for over a decade. So I figured, let's see if Hasan Piker did the right thing.
Lenari says expert on what exactly, and then the video explained.
And maybe he should be held accountable, or maybe the internet is wrong about this. Let's go into this. I'm gonna react to this right now. My team sent me this. I know nothing about this guy. I know nothing about his dog. All I know a lot about is dog training, dog behavior. Let's get into it. His dog's behind him on a cot. She's like a chow mix. He can see her getting off here. He's annoyed.
Oh, but just stop.
Okay. Corrected her. She yelped. She went right back into a down. He's upset, obviously. He's being a baby. She's being a baby, I think, he or she. So.
You're making her stressed.
Stress. Stress is. Sure.
So incredibly spoiled from my mom. And she needs to literally have the same structured, regimented.
Okay, I agree with everything he's saying. We're gonna get into all of this. This is very interesting, especially for people who don't know anything about dogs, who don't know anything about dog training, and if this guy's on the line of losing his career or being banned from Twitch, this is very, very serious. So from a dog training standpoint, and I'll give you guys context as well. I used to be an animal control officer, and so I used to literally go to court for the state of New York to determine whether or not dogs have been abused, they've been neglected, they've been abandoned. So I am a very good person to look at this and actually identify what is actual abuse and what is not. And of course, my experience would.
Paige says the right, like I said, the right is doing weak sauce. Absolutely.
Correction. Dog said, "Holy crap, guys." This dog has already forgot about this. And again, from an animal control perspective.
That is something to note as well. So in cases of abuse, you reinforce something enough that the animal gets a negative response a lot. But generally speaking, in situations like this, like, you know, when you're walking and you like trip over your animal because it's dark and you didn't see that they're laying in the hallway? Yeah, they feel slighted and upset when it happens. And within about 7 seconds, they've forgotten that that happens, and they want you to give them another treat. Now, that is not carte blanche to go into the hallway and quote, quote, mistakenly trip over your animals. That is not a thing to do. But regardless, I said, yeah, we feel horrible, so we give them treats. Exactly. Alrighty, let's continue.
Again, we never want to see dogs yelp. But guys, I've put dogs on collars and leashes, and I've been talking to somebody like this, and the dog runs at the end of the leash, and they hit the end of the leash, they go, ah! And they do the same thing. So
yeah, like so that is a thing to note when it comes to any dog. If a dog decides that they want to do something, they really want to do it, that thing that they want to do is super important, incredibly important, they are going to go to as many lengths as they can in order to make whatever that is happen. That's what they want to do. So when they are stopped, yeah, your dog's going to be disappointed. And if that stopping requires them to be like yanked back on a leash, they're going to yelp. That's going to happen. Yeah, they're dramatic little fusses. And every dog owner hopes that they're not going to be the person who's caught on camera randomly in the middle of like a town square or something when one of their dogs decides to do something, you know, uncouth for a minute. It's our jobs as dog owners to give them some structure when we are out with them so that they do not go and do anything silly. So these people would lose their mind listening to huskies. They're loud. They're some loud motherfuckers. Paige says, tripping on your dog in the dark. What about driving in my car right after a beer? Hey, that bump is shaped like a deer. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, dogs like to talk. And so, like, as an example, when Growlithe wants to go outside, and I'm making a mistake by saying her name, I know I am, but when Growlithe wants to go outside, she barks at me. That's her way of communicating. But when Chip wants to go outside, and thank fuck neither of them apparently heard their names being called, or at least they're too tired from company being over to do anything about it. But when Chip wants to go outside, he emits this loud whine. This, like, the most pathetic whine you've ever heard. And he does it if you're not cuddling him. He does it if he's not going outside when he wants to. And he does it if you're not letting him inside when he wants in. And that when might be 30 seconds after he went outside. Who knows? Dogs are dramatic little fusses. They really are. They really are. And it's something you've got to get used to if you're gonna have dogs.
And as a dog trainer, we make mistakes. We're professionals. We're trained with the tools that this gentleman is using, and things happen, right? So abuse is showing up to trailer parks, showing up to houses, showing up to mansions, and seeing dogs fight each other to the death because the owners are afraid to be assertive. Dogs who are putting holes in kids, dogs who are hurting kids because the owners are not holding the dog accountable. That's abuse. Not feeding your dog for weeks at a time, that's abuse. Leaving your dog outside to die is abuse. Neglecting your dog, throwing your dog outside of a car, a moving car, I've seen all these things. I've written reports for all these things. Yes, that would be abuse. So let's look at some of the comments people are saying, responses from the world that I can react to. So the Observer, Uncle Mikey LA, he's lying, those collars have vibrate. So his response, just so you guys know, I'm going to read it to you because it's important. You know, I'm not an investigator, but so he's showing off his collar, and the collar, he's saying, I'm just going to watch it.
This is the one. This is the one that they saw.
Okay, let me see. Let me actually, I can tell you exactly.
Teethpaste says that's an extreme level of abuse. There's different levels of abuse. Forcing your dog to stay still for 4 hours is abuse. So kenneling is abuse. By your definition, Teethpaste, kenneling is abuse. Because what Hasan did there is no different than kenneling. It is having a dog in a small centralized location for a period of time as a form of structure. That is what kenneling is. Therefore, kenneling is abuse. Or crating. Crating is abuse. These things that are known to not be harmful to dogs and are ways to make sure that a dog has a level of structure or does not do things like destroy your house. That's what this is. It is no different. So this is the same thing as having an invisible fence around your yard. You know, the fence where if a dog runs out there and they go to the edge where the invisible fence is and they get shocked by it? Okay, sure. This is that on a smaller scale. Like, I'm sorry, but I do not see this. I do not see that as abuse. I don't see kenneling and crating as abuse. And this is functionally no different than either of those things. If we are to take that this situation here is abuse, then we are to take that invisible fences are abuse and kenneling and crating are abuse. And if we are to take those stances, then every professional dog trainer who is intimately familiar with their behaviors is going to laugh at us because that is a silly position.
If this collar has just a vibrate or not, because I've used several e-collars. They are, again, they're great for dogs who are deaf. They're great for people who want to enjoy their dog completely off leash but need to get them back when they call them back. They're great for dogs who have a bite history and they want to keep their dog alive instead of euthanizing him because maybe they don't like other dogs and there's nothing else that can really reach them where they're at.
That people are talking about. Okay, this is the one. This is the one that they saw.
Let me see it, buddy.
It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy? That's it.
Teethpaste says, kenneling is for certain use cases. Having your dog on stream for several hours seems a little ridiculous to me. Again, how is that different in any way, shape, or form to kenneling your dog while you go to work? How is it any different than that? You kennel your dog while you're at work to make sure they don't destroy anything. They have access to food and water in the kennel. Now, obviously, the situation's a little different here. So Lenari says, wasn't she just napping? Again, like, people have a lot of opinions about this. And those opinions, when put up to the scrutiny of somebody who actually is an expert in this field, do not hold water. When your opinions are scrutinized by an expert, and that expert finds your opinion silly, the time to die on the hill has ended.
Good. There's the air tag. There's the fucking vibrator. It also uses...
Let me see it.
It also has a flashlight component to it.
Let me see it. So this is what I believe is an e-collar technologies e-collar. A good brand of remote collar, when we talk about, you know, again, the spectrum, that has 100 levels. He just used the wrong level. I am not convinced that this only has a vibrate because he won't show...
This is the one. This is the...
So right now, he does show the collar without the contact points inside of it. So I'll pop up a remote collar with contact points.
Teethpaste says, I gotta say, I would say kenneling your dog while you're at work is way worse than just training your dog to not run around. Okay, I can understand that perspective. Do you have any data to back up that that is an abusive behavior? Do you have any studies on dog behavior to back that up? Or is that a vibes-based opinion? Because that is a claim, and I'm willing to accept you believe that claim.
It's here. Sometimes I have them laying around here as we demonstrate people what they are and what they're meant to be used for.
This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy?
Okay, so there's no contact points on this collar, and he could be correct because the e-collar technologies remote collar, they do make a vibrate only. For sure, they do. And it doesn't look like there's contact points on this collar, which in that case, he would be correct. You can also take the contact points out of a collar, but it doesn't look like there's any holes in this collar for to even screw in. Very familiar with the brand, very familiar with the collar.
There's the air tag.
Air tag, it's an e-collar technology.
It also has a flashlight component to it at nighttime, and it also has a tracker on it when she gets lost. If she were to actually get fucking lost, you are able to, it emits a sound, okay?
It's a tone. We call it a tone. He's probably freaking out. And I feel bad, man. This is the...
Where Kaya doesn't...
Okay, now I need to react to this. So now he's getting the dog back out and he's working on his place command.
Place.
The dog goes to his place.
There are days where Kaya doesn't wear a collar. There are days where she wears a different collar. Okay? This, in and of itself, doesn't actually work in the way that you think it does. Okay? Here. This is the...
So he's holding the remote collar, the receiver, without contact points. And what he's...
Did chair react?
Let me just see if he turns it.
Okay? And this is when it vibrates.
If the collar he's showing right here is the collar that was on her, which I'm assuming he doesn't have multiple, he's not a dog trainer, he doesn't have these collars laying around. He's correct, actually, that he just used the vibrate function and the dog was corrected. Judging by what and again, I'm objective. I have no skin in this game. I don't know him. I don't know his dog. I don't know anything about this situation. I'm just telling the people what's going on. That collar only vibrates. He is correct. Flashlight. And listen, it could very, very well be that the dog is extremely sensitive. He used the vibrate and the dog said, that could have happened. Is that abuse? Absolutely not, right? That is a dog who is very sensitive, and I can guarantee you it's probably the dog again. You're sitting there and you're picking up the dog's poop, they run away, they hit the end of the leash and they scream. I've seen dogs like that. Shiba Inus are like that. Siberian Huskies are like that. This is, I don't know, like a Chow mix, Akita mix. It's hard to say, but obviously this dog has spent money. He has spent time. Typically dog trainers don't just give this equipment out. And a lot of people are discouraged from other dog trainers to just go online and buy it and do it yourself unless you take like I have courses on him and all sorts of different stuff. It takes a lot of effort into this. And I don't think he has a training set up in his.
So this is effectively crate training. She has a place to go. That plate is no different than a crate or a kennel. This is what my grandmother would do for her dog. When it was time to sleep, dog goes in a crate. If dog makes noise, like it needs to go to the bathroom, it's time to wake up, let the dog out, and then when the dog comes back in, it's time to go back into the crate. That is the structure for the dog. This is a behavior that is used for traveling as well. When you are traveling somewhere, you can keep a collapsible dog kennel with you so that your dog can be out and about with you if you're at a beach or something, but you don't have anywhere where you can like tie up the dog harness or anything like that while you're there. This is the same thing. The people who are freaking out about this are either not experts in dog behavior and are operating off of vibes, or are right-wingers who are attempting to poison the well, because poisoning the well on Hasan is always an easy thing to do. He's the largest left-wing streamer, period. Of all of the people who stream politics on the left wing, he's the biggest one. And it is easiest to go after the biggest one. You get the clicks, you get the drama, you get the money. That's what it is. Rainberry says, I've had dogs all my life so far. I don't see anything wrong with what he did. So, I don't personally crate my dogs. I do crate my cats. So, if we are in a situation where we have to flea bomb the house, which thankfully we haven't had to do for years, but when we have had to do it, the cats all go into a crate because they have to be outside of the house so that can happen. And the cats may not all get along with one another, but they're going to get along for the 6 hours they got to be out there. Basis, you had to do that. Our policy is if we see one flea, we preempt and give them all their medications. They normally have their medications, but ADHD, sometimes we forget. If we see more than one flea, that is evidence of a potential infestation. If that starts to happen, then all of the animals get their treatment for meds, and then they are all ushered outside. The cats are put into their kennel so they can be outside, and then the entire house gets flea bombed. Period. That is the policy. We have a drawer with 6 active flea bombs, the kind that can kill eggs, and we have a drawer with all of their meds. One of those is obviously only ever open in case of emergencies. Now, the other situation where we have that crate for is when there was a tornado running through and my parents' house is technically safer than my house, we had to put all the cats into their crate. And then Growly and Chip had to come with us and be sequestered into a single room. Paige says it was bad enough when my old man got attacked by bed bugs. I have never experienced bed bugs, and I am so happy that I have never had to experience that before. Ever, ever, ever.
With a very similar collar, so you guys know exactly what's going on. All right, so this is a remote collar as well, very similar to the one that he used. This does have stimulation, and it has vibration and tone, right? So this is the tone. This is what he did from his video, from the collar he used, is it was on the dog, and then he used the vibration, which is exactly that. It's literally the vibration. You guys can probably even hear it. It is aversive. Dogs don't like it. That's the point. But I want you guys to understand, The dog starts to get off the bed. The dog goes, ah, gets back on the bed, lays down. Sorry about that, Dad. And if the dog is sensitive enough to vocalize and yelp because of the vibrate, that's really not on him. I mean, it sucks that it happened to the dog. I never want to hear a dog do that. And I just am trying to be fair here, because the vibrate is literally your cell phone, guys. Now the stimulation, just to give you guys context, like on this collar, this is the Dogtra e-collar. Like right now I can feel it at a 13. Like I can feel it. We train typically on a 3. We train a dog to come back. We literally train a dog just to answer the phone. So I just wanted to show you tone, vibrate, stimulation, all different things. If he were to use another, no, like he used a vibrate only collar. And to be fair, like, I don't know, maybe he should just do it again just to show. I don't know. That's my 2 cents, guys. Hope that you liked it.
So the 2 cents here is that based on all the information we have, Hasan's not a fucking animal abuser, and everybody who freaks out about it is either operating off of vibes or being disingenuous. Operating off of vibes is not useful. Being disingenuous is actively harmful. There we go. Teeth says, so this is all under the assumption this is a vibration collar? No, he literally used the stimulation version on himself. Right there on the camera. That's what he used. So unless you've got access to the collar and access to what the number it was dialed into is at, then the only thing you have is assumptions. You're not operating off of the assumption. You are simply having to make assumptions. And there is a difference. There is a difference there. But anyway, that's where we have to throw the conversation back to y'all in the comment section. Though, for this one, I may be moderating it a bit because I'm kind of worried about the kind of people who are going to find their ways into the conversation itself over on YouTube. But we'll find out. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is my 2 cents on the situation. It seems fine. People are freaking out about this because it's an easy thing to freak out about. People freak out about kids and they freak out about animals. What are the 2 things Tectone tries to accuse people of? Animal and child shit. Like that's what he aims for, because he knows that his audience will quickly respond to that. And I think that's disgusting. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitt, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.